We just got a lot of new information in regards to how subclasses work in Anthem. This new information gives us a huge amount of insight to how abilities and gear in particular will work in the game. We'll be going over what MacDara said whilst also using a diagram as an example to how subclasses intend to work. My name is Ryan Central and welcome back to another Anthem video. Abilities, gear and Anthem customization is something that we know a good deal about, but we don't know everything just yet. There's still a lot of questions that remain to be answered, and a good chunk of those questions were answered today. Before we go over the tweets, we need to go over the fundamentals of what we know so far. Number 1. Abilities in Anthem are gear pieces that you pick up as loot, like a gun or certain bits of armor. Number 2. These abilities also have rarities, just like gear and weapons. These go from common to masterwork, which is effectively exotic or legendary. Number 3. Each Javelin can have 2 abilities equipped at once. An example that we can use to better explain this is the Colossus from the 2 pieces of Colossus gameplay. The Thick Boy from the 19-minute gameplay demo at E3 had a multi-mortar and a railgun equipped as abilities. The other Thicker Boy that we saw glimmers of in another trailer had a fire mortar and a flamethrower equipped. There might be more abilities, but we don't know about them just yet. We'll keep you posted on that. But speaking of what we just went over, this question was asked to MacDara. Although I don't like comparing a game to Destiny, will each Javelin have a different subclass? For instance, what is the Flamethrower Colossus, a subclass change or an equipment change? MacDara says this is done through the gear that you equip. So subclasses in a sense are dictated by the gear that your Javelin is running. This in itself isn't too shocking, we kinda knew about that before. We know that there's no talent system specifically for your Javelin, but more as your freelancer as a whole. If say you specialize in talents to enable you to fly for longer without your engines burning out, then that'll affect all of your Javelin suits, not just the one, your Colossus or Storm or whatever, it will affect all of them. However, what we got next was some really juicy information. The question was, can I equip the flamethrower whilst also having a multi-mortar equipped, or any other future abilities that will take up that slot? Do I specifically have to equip the napalm styled mortar instead, or can you mix up those ability slots? MacDara says, in addition to your 2 guns, you will have 3 gear slots. The multi-mortar goes into your shoulder, and the flamethrower goes in the arm, so you can equip both at once. This is really interesting and we didn't know about this prior. The abilities equip into specific armor slots on your Javelin, but also check this. Somebody tries to explain it and says, you can create your own loadouts, but they've said each gear piece will have its own dedicated slot to put it on. So for example, you cannot use the flamethrower and the railgun in the same slot and they cannot be combined. Same with the multi-mortar and the flame mortar, MacDara says exactly. If you still don't understand, I've drawn up a diagram. Here's our Colossus Thick Boy, and if we were to go into his gear page, he would have a shoulder slot and an arm slot. Sorry for the Diablo pictures, we obviously don't have the gear pictures from the game just yet, but these 2 gear slots for the Colossus have open ability slots to use. In the shoulder we currently have the multi-mortar equipped, and in the arm we have the railgun. However, let's say that you have a legendary flamethrower that you want to run, literally the best in the game, you would have to replace the railgun in your arm slot with the flamethrower. It cannot obviously go into your shoulder slot. Same for a flame mortar, if you want to equip that, then you can't equip the multi-mortar too. And this is confirmed by another tweet. I was wondering if the 3 gear slots were restricted to 1 location on each Javelin. So instead of running a flamethrower and multi-mortar, could you run 2 shoulder abilities and leave the arm empty? Mac says no. So I'm led to believe that the abilities are almost socketed items that go into armor pieces, like gems in World of Warcraft and Diablo. I'm not 100% sure on this, but it seems to work in that fashion. It could also be that the abilities themselves also work as armor pieces in those slots at the same time. So a multi-mortar would count as your shoulder slot, giving you the ability, but also providing its own stats and perks, like a normal armor piece. And whilst also MacDara says that there's only 3 gear slots, I don't see there being 3 armor slots in total on a Javelin. I think there will be a few more, but that needs confirmation. But one final really exciting thing that I wanted to cover is this. What is the 3rd gear slot? Is it the ultimate ability or is it a secret for now? MacDara says technically the ultimate and melee weapon are also gear slots, but they won't be changeable at launch. So basically there's another gear slot in Anthem that has had nothing said about it. He said before that the Colossus had 3 slots, 1 for shoulder, 1 for arm, and never went over the last one. The assumption was that the ult or melee attack would take up that slot, but apparently it doesn't count. It's also not the shield, as MacDara said in a previous tweet that the shield is not removable. What the ability pieces are going to be on other Javelins does remain to be seen. We don't know half as much about the other Javelin's abilities in comparison to the Colossus, but let's assume for example that the Ranger's grenade is on his arm and the Storm's shield is on their chest, something like that. It might be that all Javelin suits have their abilities on the shoulder and arm slots on their gear, but we'll have to see on that. In any case, we got a lot of new information to go over with how subclasses and abilities will function in the Anthem gear slots. Whilst I do think that this has raised more questions on the subject, we have a good chunk of new info and a lot to speculate over too. Thanks for watching, let us know what you think of all of this in the comments below, like and subscribe if you haven't already to this channel for more Anthem news, really does help us out, and see you soon, take care guys.